All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords. As always, I'm Andrew.
And I'm back for 2 weeks in a row.
I know.
What a treat.
Feels naughty.
Does feel naughty.
But I like it. I'm into it.
I dig it.
I could get used to it. Do you know what I mean?
Or don't. You know, let's set
I know.
the
You're leaving
standards
me.
realistically.
You're leaving on a jet plane.
Yes. Why do you say things that make me want to sing them?
Because it's a tune.
Son of a bitch. I mean, at least you've just put...
Are all your bags packed? I mean, I know you. They're probably not.
Just before we
So
came
you're not
on,
ready to go.
Just before we came on air, you literally just playing like the Hamilton soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah.
And now like a bunch of that's in my head.
Yeah. I like to keep people on their toes, keep them guessing. It got you
worked.
hyped, didn't it?
But do you know where we are?
Where?
We're in the...
Schmove.
We're in the room where it happened.
We are in the room where it happens, which, if you were to go onto our TikTok page and look at our comments, is in my mum's council house.
Mum's bedroom.
And my mum's bedroom. And also her council house, apparently.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm
Commie
into it.
bastard.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you weren't called a bastard.
No, just a commie.
Just a commie. As was I.
We were both born within wedlock, so it would be an illegitimate argument.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
Yeah.
We are commies, apparently.
But I'm feeling hot today. I don't know about you.
Feeling hot. Yeah.
It's not just the weather.
We are on fire.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. We're
No,
under
not-
fire.
Not literally. I put that out.
Yeah.
I'm responsible.
I mean, the
for it.
world is on fire, sort of.
Yeah.
Like every year that it's like, oh, it's the hottest summer since records began. It's like, yeah.
I don't need the weatherman to tell me that. Like, when I'm sweating my balls off,
When I'm just
I know.
sat indoors, sat down and I'm sweating.
I know how hot it is.
Yeah.
When I wake up and I have to, like, peel myself off the bed,
Yeah.
I get it.
Luckily, I've not had that problem yet. It's not been quite that warm in the morning. But then I bet you get
You
up
just-
later than I do.
100%. Morning,
When you say morning, are you talking 12, 1 o'clock?
yeah, I'm usually still up at 12, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just partying the night away.
But that's because you're a naughty boy. You like to be out there, you know,
Putting it
roaming
about.
free.
Planting my seed as whatever we
Yeah.
were told. Oh my God.
When you're out there in the dating scene, right?
Yeah.
You know, living your life, spreading your
Yeah.
wild oats. Do you inform the women that you're a preacher of sorts, that you're out here spreading the good word?
I think they understand. They get the vibe.
Or they just know this
You
guy
know,
definitely
you
has
know
a
this
podcast?
guy.
They meet him and they're like, I don't even need to ask. He just definitely has a podcast.
They spend 5 minutes. They think he's told me every opinion he's ever had. Like, he's given opinions on, you know,
Yeah.
he gave me an opinion on the drink I ordered.
He's already chastised me.
He's already judged the venue we're at.
Yeah.
This guy
Everyone
definitely
in the
has-
room.
See, he definitely has a podcast.
Yeah. He's already accused me of being racist. It's only been 2 minutes.
Apparently, it's something I do.
Yeah.
Apparently, I've got nothing other than throw the word racism around. Didn't even call people racist, which is funny.
No, you actually specified, like, I'm not calling people racist.
Yeah.
It's not good enough for some people, mate. You just can't even say
Do you know
the
who it's
word.
not good enough for? The racists.
The racists. Do you know what?
Fuck 'em, I'll say it now.
It's ironic that they're as sensitive
Isn't
as
that
they
ironic? Yeah.
are. Do you know what I mean?
The Snowflake Patrol.
Yeah. And like the people that think everyone else is too sensitive about the things they say.
I know I've told you.
Surprisingly thin-skinned.
I know I've told you before. Whether it was on air or not, I can't remember. But I do have a theory. And when I say a theory, it's not just like, oh, maybe. It's like, no, I firmly believe this is what I stick with. Anyone who uses the term snowflake, not ironically
Yeah, yeah.
or in a jokey sense, but in
I
a
was just
real
about to change
sense,
my Twitter bio.
anyone who uses the word snowflake
Yeah.
is, I mean, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 times, but I'm just picking the number out of thin air,
Yeah.
but is far more likely to be a snowflake
Yeah.
than anyone they've ever accused of being a snowflake.
Yeah.
And
No,
I stand
totally.
by that.
No, totally.
And it might even be higher. 3 or 4 might be an absolute lowball.
Yeah.
But-
We're being generous.
Anyone who says you bloody snowflakes, I guarantee they're getting upset about a problem that's not a real problem.
Yeah.
Or you'll respond to them and they'll just like lose their tiny little minds.
Yeah. Or come out with really nonsensical shit.
Yeah, I'll tell
Stuff
you.
about Ponzi schemes and immigration.
I'll tell you who I bet used fucking the word snowflake.
Yeah.
The bring back Al Capone bloke.
No, he
No,
was
he
a
was an
maverick.
enigma.
He
He
was a class amongst himself.
Yeah,
I
but-
still to this day don't know what he was talking about.
Less and less every time I think about it.
Yeah, it makes less and less sense over the spans of time. I can imagine being on my deathbed and just being like,
What does it mean?
what does it mean?
That's what I'm going to ask. If God or gods are real,
Yeah,
and I passed through to the other side, and I'm met by a god,
yeah.
some sort of like
What
omnipotent.
god would you
know-it-all.
like it to be out of the...
I'm glad you asked. One who knows the answer to what does that mean.
What?
But there's a good chance you get through there.
Yeah.
And like the god of gods, the top god,
So you think there is more than one, do you?
I'm open to the possibility.
Nice.
But the top dog, god,
Yeah.
he turns around and he says, to be honest, mate, even I don't know what the fuck he was going on about.
I've tried talking to him about it. He just kept waffling on.
I mean, I make these creations and everything's my will, but that one just sort of slipped out.
Yeah.
No idea what's happening.
I just leave him to it. He's still alive now.
Yeah, he's in the corner. No one goes near him. Talking twaddle
We keep him away from scissors.
and phones in case he dares phone in another radio show.
Yeah, you only let someone do that once.
And if you're a producer,
Do you think
you've
he was
seen him
genuine? Like, I mean, for people listening, they have zero idea what we're talking about.
He might have been high.
Yeah, maybe.
It was
but
like
high on
quite
what?
early in the morning.
It was early in the...
Oh no, were we coming back actually?
Yeah, we were.
Was it an
coming back.
afternoon?
We were nearly home.
So it was an afternoon then.
Yeah.
Running out of excuses for him.
Just insane.
Just mental.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
no one knows that. Just
they
for us.
But no, the thing we started talking about was that we, for those who may not have listened to the last episode, you can go back now and try it. And the episode was named "Are Reform Voters Racist?" I put a clip up on TikTok of a video with the same name.
Because we're on TikTok at
'Cause we are.
CrossingSwords_podcast.
Pow.
Smooth. See that?
Smooth.
See that?
I
Just
like
sort
it.
of
The
like
plug.
that's how I slide into DMs.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Yeah. Just smooth.
and I make that noise when I do it. I'm like,
Do you like put that in air bubbles so they hear it? Or do you send a little voice note with it?
I've
just in
taken a
case?
little video of me doing this, and I've gifted it, and I just send that with the message.
Yeah, maybe I should just put that in a clip randomly. Just go, just no context.
You should.
I'm making a mental note in my head of how far into the pod we are. But no, we put the clip up on TikTok, and I expected a little bit of interaction from it.
There's a lot of engagement.
There is a lot of engagement. Like normally we might get 2 or 3 comments on a video now and again.
Yeah.
Over 70 on this one. Like a few were like sort of agreeing, a few reasonably smart responses, but in general it was just right wing nut jobs with either a fake picture or a fake name or no picture.
I'll break
or
it
name.
down for you, in my opinion, having sort of read through most of them.
Yeah.
I think I probably missed a couple. I sort of scrolled through them just before we set off on air. There were 72 comments at that time. I reckon about 4 are in defence of us.
Yeah.
About 65 at least are kind of like calling us all sorts of things, defending the opposite opinion.
Yeah.
Of those sort of 65, I would say there were about 2 that were either relatively eloquent or well thought out,
Yeah.
or just had a point, and you could kind of be like, oh, I don't
Right,
agree
fair
with them,
enough.
but I can see what they're making.
Yeah. They've not just thrown abuse back.
The rest were just calling us, they were like, we're racist, you're racist. I mean,
Yeah.
genuinely, quite a few of them said that.
Yeah.
What's racist about wanting my country back?
Yeah.
That's a personal favourite.
Yeah.
Back from whom? That's the question.
And then some people saying we're totally for social integration, but we're desperate to hold on to our culture and bring it back. And
Yeah.
it's like you can't really.
These are the kinds of people that moan about people integrating into society and culture, and then go to Spain and order an Eggo and
Only go to British bars
Yeah.
and
fry up every day.
yeah. And they're like, paella. I don't eat that foreign muck. And what do you know what annoyed me the most about it? And I said it before the pod, was that in that episode and in the clip, I'm the one that, if anything, is trying to defend them and being like, they're not racist, they're just a bit thick. And right, the word I was clinging for before at the start of the clip was patronising. I didn't want to be patronising to these people. I'm past that now. And what I'd like to say is, go fuck yourself.
Because if anyone was on the attack, and no one was on the attack, it was me.
Yeah.
More than
you
anyone.
were being more forceful with your views about it. And in general, if you listen to the beginning of the podcast and even at the end, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I'm just uncomfortable with the use of the word racist.
But I was the one that was kind of like, and like you said, I made it clear in the clip, even in the clip you posted, never mind the whole episode, but I made clear in the clip to say I'm not calling these people racist.
Yeah.
I just think that, in my opinion, they hold racist views, and I believe those racist views come from misinformation and come from just not knowing all the full picture and being told that, you know, immigration is bad and it's the reason you can't get a hospital appointment, it's the reason you can't get a house, it's the reason you can't get whatever, right? That was the kind of, my opinion was that someone's been misinformed on that, and they're...
Shall I go close the door while you're talking?
Yeah, you can go and close the door. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm listening.
It is hot, though.
It is hot. We'll just have to get sweaty.
But I was the one that was kind of saying, I think these people... And again, I never said they were racist. I quite clearly said that then I don't think they are racist. But I was the one that was saying, I think people who vote reform are likely to hold racist views. You were saying, I don't know. I don't think we should avoid that. I think we should avoid that. And then in the comments... I come under flak when we both come under attack, but I don't really come under attack on my own.
No.
You do.
Yeah, I either get called thick, fat, or a communist.
A commie. Yeah, we were both.
Or that I need to eat a salad. And what I'd like to say is you guys are absolutely right. I don't look after my body enough. But the reason for that is every time I fuck one of your mothers, they give me a donut. So that's why I'm fat.
Yeah, you had like 3 donuts this year.
And that will be a clip.
Smashing it. Also, don't think you know about this. Salads are right wing.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Salads are racist.
I think so.
I think very racist.
They're against the culture of eating British meat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's ridiculous because most of the salad that comes here, by the time it gets here, it's already on it's starting to go off.
Yeah.
That's racist. That's not integrated into British society.
It's not.
Actually, weirdly, that is actually integrated into British society because we're quite off as people. But that's neither here nor there.
But look, they're going to have plenty of time to think about how right-wing and racist
Well, they're sitting outside the door while you're fucking their mum.
Yeah. And while they're waiting for the produce to arrive while it's sat for 4 or 5 days in a random place in Cornwall or wherever the fuck it is, or Devon, wherever the fuck it is, because of Brexit.
Yeah. Either it's stuck in a queue or we can't get the people to pick it out of the fields.
Yeah. And what I would say, for the reasonable right-wing person out there, for the few of you...
There were a couple that engaged.
That commented. This isn't aimed at you, by the way. This is aimed at the real losers out there that when they were accused of being a racist or holding racist views to be more accurate, their response was just go, fuck you, you're fat. Like...
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's almost as if they don't have a legitimate argument on their side.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's funny that out of 70 comments about 2 people, even though they weren't actual... legitimate arguments, try to put some sort of argument forward and not just be like, I love my country and you're fat.
There were a few I love my countries and what's wrong with
hating foreign people? The highest. And you know what? It's sad because, like I said, in general, not just in the last episode, but like over the last few months, I've tried to lean myself towards the centre ground to accommodate.
And the right is pushing you away.
Do you know what I mean? They're like, do you know what? We see you making, trying to bring us in and be reasonable and be understanding, but fuck you and go.
No, why? 'Cause they've seen your political leanings,
yeah,
like your career on FM. They're like, you little snake, you little rat, try and get away from one side and join the other.
No,
have
it's
some
just
loyalty.
like I genuinely care about people and I don't want people to feel disenfranchised or disconnected from the rest of society.
They've been listening to the pod and they know that, and they know your football manager career.
Yeah.
And that's what they're basing their prejudices on.
Yeah. Look, if that is what they're basing it on, it's completely fair. I am a I am a total schlag.
You are a schlag.
You know, I'm
schlag.
Cat from EastEnders. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I became a total slag.
Didn't just become a little bit of a slag.
Yeah.
You became a total slag. You
Exactly.
filthy slag.
So if they're basing it off that, I can understand. But yeah, like...
Every time you try to present some kind of like centrist views, or even like centre left, centre right, you get pushed hard.
Do you know what I mean?
By the right.
it's almost like they don't want to be helped. Do you
We
know
don't
what I mean?
really, we've never really come under a criticism or attack from the left either.
No.
Not massively.
Well, no, but that's because we don't. Like, even with that video, right? Like I said, I knew we'd get a bit of blowback
Flack.
from it, but other than the title, there was nothing particularly inflammatory about it, and that's the reason we don't come under attack from the left, because we're not saying anything deliberately inflammatory. Like, and if anyone went back and listened to any of these episodes, we spent a good, probably collectively about 40 minutes talking about reform voters and whether they were racist or not. So it wasn't like we just sat there for 5 minutes and went, yeah, well, they just have racist views, don't they? Like, we genuinely tried to talk about it and think about it, and that's what the whole point of this podcast is. But
then that's how do you boil that down to a
well, it's impossible
2-minute
to.
clip.
But that's why I deliberately chose a portion of it where I felt it was a balanced part of the conversation, and it wasn't just us banging on about them being racist. So yeah, I'm going to feel less concerned about calling them racist going forward, if I'm being honest with you.
after the abuse.
The thing is, right, I find it quite funny actually, like, and all the hateful comments and shit like that. And I think I said in the previous episode, I'd maybe feel different about it if you timesed it by 10 or 100. I don't know, because I've never experienced
Yeah, if we were getting
that.
700 comments or...
But I can't see logically why. I think if it was that many negative comments, I'd just be like, well, I'm not reading them. Like,
Yeah.
you lot fill your boots. I couldn't give a fuck.
Same as when I came under attack when we posted
Oh,
that
for the
Russell Brand
Brand.
clip.
Yeah.
I loved it. I read through them like every day. I was going back on there. I'm like,
Is it a
what-
weird, like, sort of satisfaction of like, yeah, I've boiled their piss.
No,
I've ruined someone's day.
it's an absolute curiosity of like, if someone came on and presented like a legitimate counterpoint,
Yeah.
I'd kind of go, okay, yeah, that's really interesting, and open my mind and say, okay, let me
At least
consider
there's something
that,
to be
and let me-
discussed there.
But it amuses me so much that so often there is no legitimate counterpoint. It just boils down to, if I say something that it's not even if I say something that they don't agree with it. It's much more than that. If I say something that they don't agree with and then tell them that I think they're being conned,
Yeah.
then they just resort to like, you're part of this conspiracy, you're a stooge, you're just a commie, you're just you're the left and you're blind to everything else that's not around you.
Yeah.
And you think that's not, I mean, look, I'm well aware that I'm far more insulated in my political leanings than you are, or in my ideals,
Yeah.
maybe. But I'm very open to both sides, and I can understand opinions on the right of centre, on the left of centre.
Yeah.
But I can't understand opinions on the extremes. And what I really struggle with is it's not even, what I really struggle with sometimes is the topics themselves. I think, why is that even a topic of contention?
Yeah.
Like the whole, I mean, even Keir Starmer's nailing his fucking nail to the cross on the whole gender ideology thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is that even a thing? You're talking about not to get too political again, but you're talking about introducing a trans-specific or a gender-specific Section 28. You're saying we're open to that, when we all collectively agree that Section 28 was a horrendous part of recent history. We all agree
Remind
that it
us
was...
what Section
So
28
Section
is
28 was... I'm really want to be like, it was that bitch that did it, but I'm not going to put a name on it, or a
You
government.
were going to say Maggie Thatcher, weren't you?
I was going to say Maggie Thatcher, but I'm not going to. It was a legislation that said that homosexual, just the existence almost of homosexual could not be taught in schools. So you
Right,
could not
okay.
teach kids that other kids might have two dads or two mums.
It's ridiculous.
You could not word anything that way. You couldn't introduce any literature that introduced gay
And they're going
ideology
to do
and
the
stuff.
same thing with trans people, I'm assuming.
And Keir's basically said, look, I don't think that gender ideology belongs in schools and it should be taught in schools. So they're essentially talking about introducing the Section 28, even though
Yeah.
now we look back and we go, Section 28 was horrendous. It was wildly homophobic. It was wrong for being homophobic. It fueled homophobia.
Yeah.
And we all go, yeah, that was a really weak, shouldn't have done that. And now you're going to do it again. So it's stuff
Yeah.
like that where I'm like, it's never mind the extreme left or the extreme right views on it. It's like, I can't understand why it's a debate. Like, surely you can see that is this. And we all know this is bad. So why is that suddenly being talked about as if it's
Yeah.
a debate.
And
That stuff like that I struggle with.
No, totally. And I think what's frightening about stuff like that is I can't understand why Keir Starmer's so afraid of, and we can say it, the portion of the people we're talking about that are extreme and do have these massive reactions, but why he's scared of them, because they're not the majority. Most people, if you were to talk to them about people who are trans, probably wouldn't actually care. They'd be like, yeah, fine, do what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? Mm. And I think most people's discomfort with it probably comes again from a bit similar to immigration. It's misinformation and ignorance. And the only way to change that is to expose people to it more, in my opinion. Or, like, the more we understand about it, the more comfortable people can feel.
But the
with
fact
it.
is, it's debatable because we're being told it's debatable. When we look back, like, I know I've said it before, but with the trans thing,
Yeah.
one of the first most popular winners of Big Brother was a trans woman.
Nadia?
Yeah. And no one gave a flying monkeys about her gender.
No, and didn't she, like, shove a wine bottle?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I thought so.
Probably why she won. Everyone looked on and she was like, yeah, she's all right, really.
Just remember that
she's
poor bloke's horrified face as he was watching it happen. Do you remember?
Yes.
And he's just... And, like, you see everything just through his face.
Yeah, like the ones that are there. Most of them are just reacting like, oh my God.
And he's just, you can tell it's like...
He's torn between shouting to everyone and going, oh my God, I'm looking at this and being like, I need to look away. What am I looking at? Yeah.
It's one of those things that's so horrifying you can't look away.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think I will condemn what Keir Starmer's done because it's, for me, no different from when a while ago, and I can't remember what he did for us to call him out, but Rishi, like, went on television and, like, publicly was being critical about trans people. I can't remember in what capacity, but I remember condemning him at the time. So no, it's despicable for him to do it because he is going to be Prime Minister, and I don't think it's right that any percentage of the country, regardless of who they are, should feel in any way targeted or victimised by the government that's supposed to care for them.
But in terms of the reactions we get, and I think the reason why we get the reactions, there's something very... and I don't think just to preface this, I don't think people think we're calling them stupid. I don't think we necessarily make people feel stupid, but they feel like we're calling them stupid. Yes. And there's this quote. So James O'Brien used it the other day on the radio, and I was like, no, that makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna sort of
he often has
roughly regurgitate it now. So it was a quote from someone else that he quoted. So it's, do you know his compassion for the conned, contempt for the con man?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he sort of explained where he got that from, and he explained that there's this book, and this chap says that if I was your friend, and I was telling you you're being conned, someone taking your money, and you didn't listen, you went, no, you're being silly, and then they gave their money away, and then they found out a little while later that, yes, they were being conned, and it doesn't matter how sympathetic you are and how they will forgive the con man, but they will not forgive you, and the reason is because, and this is the quote that I'm sort of going to bring it back to and why I said what I said, he said that he will never forgive you because the con man took his money, but you made him feel stupid.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a really powerful, for me, it struck as a really powerful chord, and it's like people will far quicker to be robbed. And in the terms of Brexit, it's robbed of their freedom of movement, freedom of work, their economic downturn or economic support. They're being robbed of all of those.
And it's faced them with the absolute undeniable fact that immigration is a net positive for the country and we can't run without it.
They'd far rather be robbed of all of those things
than
feel stupid.
Yeah.
They'd rather lose those things and feel smart, right?
Yeah.
Than have those things and feel like they were thick.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I was stupid to be conned.
Yeah.
You know? And that's not the way it should be. I'd never want to make anyone feel that way. I know I probably do with the way I speak on this podcast sometimes, but
the thing is, it's difficult to, and there was a comment once in a group chat I was in a couple of years ago now, maybe even more than a couple of years ago, like when we first started the podcast and we first started talking about politics, and someone made a comment, not that you know, it's like somebody's family, about us being patronising. And I can't remember what it was about, but I remember at the time being like, it's hard not to sound patronising when you're telling people that they aren't aware of the truth or they haven't seen enough or heard enough. And the thing is, it can be difficult to stay politically engaged. So I have to put a lot of concerted effort into seeking stuff out and engaging with different things. And like part of the difference between like, one of the reasons I think I'm probably slightly more malleable than you are in terms of politics is because I deliberately try and expose myself to other people's opposite political views, or listen to sometimes not necessarily right wing, but maybe centre right stuff, and because I'm interested to see what they say. I'm interested to hear what their side of things are, and quite often you can see a human being on camera that just either hasn't been exposed to enough people or enough information, but it's difficult to ever say that without it sounding like you're being patronising, because you are, or we are in a way, saying people are stupid because they haven't learnt enough.
Also, I know it's very something else we've spoken about previously, but it's very hard to get involved in the political discourse because so much of it is extremist these days. Yeah. There is very little in the centre.
Well, look, just that TikTok video.
So even whether I look up left or even whether I look up stuff on the right or the left, and I do try and expose myself to stuff, but even as well as it's the same as I'm looking up stuff on the left. It's like, fuck me, you lot are too. Yeah, like on both sides, it's like you lot are both talking utter shit.
Yeah.
And you need to just come back to the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone needs to offer some fucking middle.
Yeah, and like the reason I'm so passionate about being informed, and I've talked about it on the podcast before, is because I voted to leave the EU. And I did that because I was ignorant and uninformed. And I've never felt more stupid in my life than realising that. So I was determined after that, I am never going to do that again. If I'm going in to vote for something, I need to understand what I'm voting about and what it means. Because ever since then, everything's gone to shit. And I am as responsible as every other person on that TikTok video that I have no doubt in my mind voted for Brexit. And so like I don't want anyone else to feel that way, and that's a big part of why I'm desperate to be in the centre, why I'm desperate to pull these people in. It's why, despite any abusive wankers out there, I am more interested in the 2 or 3 that I can actually have a conversation with, and that I think that's the only way to move the needle. So like I'm not going to stop talking about the things we're talking about. I'm not going to stop posting it online. And like ultimately, we're at least brave enough to sound wanky for a second to
I've got that down.
Put our faces in front of a camera and our words out there and our thoughts and our feelings out there, and not hide any of it, and be quite upfront and honest about it.
No, not hiding behind a mask.
Yeah,
you know, I'm happy.
I'm not hiding behind a fake username online. I'm not a fake profile.
Maybe there was a misunderstanding from our point, putting it out there. Maybe there's a misunderstanding because maybe I'm happy to be challenged, but I'm not going to engage with someone who just wants to call me a whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought that we were cool. Maybe they misunderstood what we were putting across. Maybe we weren't clear enough.
I went back and listened to it again.
And maybe they thought we were just calling them racist, and they weren't. You know, maybe they're happy to be challenged. I don't think a lot of these people are. No. By the way, some of them, yes, you could tell from the way they engaged. Like I said, there was 2 or 3 there that were a dialogue.
Yeah.
A lot of them not less so, but maybe they thought we were calling them racist, and they were like, "Well, I'm not having that."
Maybe.
I don't think they are. A lot of them open to being discussed.
No. And that's the sad part, really, is like, as I think I said last week, we all agree that the country's fucked at the moment. We just clearly differ quite massively on what's the cause of that. And I will always find it sad that people in desperate positions blame other people in desperate positions rather than actually look at the people responsible. And I have no issue with us calling out Keir Starmer or whoever the politician might be if they're not doing what they should be. And I imagine we're going to spend as much of the next 5 years as possible trying to hold Labour to account when they're in power and demanding the same standards we've demanded of the Conservatives. And for the fucktards that assumed we were Labour, yes, we definitely wanted to vote Labour, but we've both decided we can't, And
No, I'm not.
we'll be voting Lib Dem.
I said anyone who's actually seen my thing knows that I absolutely will not be voting.
And for months you've said you're not going to vote Labour.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I didn't intend for us to talk about that for that long, and I know we didn't just talk about that. We encapsulated other things.
Do you want to, can I just stick on the political side of things just very quickly? Because I came across a story. I've just had to try and Google it. And, like, rest assured my Google algorithms are now fucked. I found a story. It turns out it's about 6 years old. So, I'm going to read the headline because I think the headline does it. That's all I saw, and I was like, yep, I'm in. I don't know why political is in capital letters. I don't understand. But political dominatrix who uses mind games to humiliate her submissives reveals how she focuses her unique skills on white, right-wing men in order to turn them into socialists.
I like that.
Yeah, she was 27 at the time of this
So she's 33
this article. Now. So this was she's a political science lecturer in London, and she will only dominate white men who she feels like tests them out, sees that they have right-wing views or right-leaning views. She's mixed race herself, which she says plays a huge part in the way why she goes after. She's basically targeting the patriarchy. She just doesn't use like physical stuff. It's just all about mind games and stuff like that. But just wanted to stay in the political field and just do something a bit fun. But by the way, when I searched that, I was searching.
You must have got some weird shit.
I'd like all porn links.
Yeah.
100% porn links.
So how long did it take you to get to the article?
I was done quite quickly.
I can imagine. No, you do it, Queen. You punish those little piggies.
Yeah, I was like...
You turn them into little socialist piggies.
I was like, I quite like that. Using your power for, in my opinion, good. Maybe not socialist. Don't use to go full socialism.
And I hope she's charging them for the privilege. That'd be the nice little icing on the cake.
Getting paid to make the world a better place.
Yeah. And look, that's the dream.
That is the dream. And you do look good in PVC.
Well, stop it.
All right.
Do you want...
Mate, that has genuinely fucked my Google algorithm. The first thing I saw was dominatrix.
Did you not serve that on safe search?
Oh, no.
Or on private?
No.
You fool.
I went dominatrix news, and then it was just like, do you want to find a dominatrix in your area?
I'll make you a promise now. If you die in the next several days, I'll make sure I delete your internet history for you. Just send me your phone password.
All you need to do is make sure this gets out there so people know. They could see I was doing it on air.
Yeah. I might just cut this back.
Oh, who knew he was into such stuff?
Yeah, I did.
I knew.
I've heard about the court cases. I want to quickly talk about Dave Grohl, if we may.
I thought you might.
I'm not going to lie. I think it's been blown massively out of proportion.
Hugely. It was tongue-in-cheek.
100%. Like, by and large, he's been very much like quite positive about Taylor Swift in the past. They've been photographed together. They seem to have quite a mutual respect. I took it as he was having a tongue-in-cheek dig at someone who's incredibly successful.
I took it as before. Presumably, you've got the clip.
I haven't.
Oh, that is an absolute travesty. But I took it.
If you
pad,
I'll see if I can.
I took it as this. I took it as he made a mistake, or someone made a mistake during the song that just before it, and he realised, he was like, I'm going to make a joke about this because we've made a few mistakes today. And he also knows that Taylor Swift's in town playing one of the biggest tours ever. Apparently it's going to make her a billionaire, I think. Is it $1 billion? Just off the tour?
Oh, what? Taylor Swift?
Yeah, like it's a record breaker. It's the most.
Is that
it's the
all
highest
of hers
earning
put together, or just
this tour?
She's made $1 billion off of just this tour.
Or she will have by the time it's done.
Yeah, but is that after all expenses are paid, or is that just what the tickets?
No, that may well just be what ticket prices it cut. But it's like a record breaking thing for that. And so
that's insane.
He's seen that and he's just gone.
Yeah.
Biggest selling artist, biggest touring artist playing in the same city.
Yeah.
We just made a couple of fuck ups. I'm gonna make a joke. Oh fuck it, I'll reference Taylor.
Yeah. I found it.
What were you gonna say?
I I don't know what I was going to say.
I was just talking about how big the tour was.
Oh yeah, just that. Does that not say how expensive ticket prices are now? By
Yes.
the way, like that's a real issue
Ridiculous.
I've got nowadays. By the way, there's so many times you or Ash have messaged and said, "Do you want to go see this group, or go see this group, or this band, or this person?" And it's like £150 minimum every time, and it's just like I can't justify it. And the last time I went to a big concert was with you and Ash in Sunderland, where we went to see the Foo Fighters, and it was £30 to go to Sunderland. And then now I think we looked at it. Was it at London Stadium?
Yeah, it was
And I think it was over 100
120,
quid.
I think.
Yeah,
110.
and that's for a seat in the heavens.
Yeah.
And like charge half of that, or not, like a third less than that even. If it was sub £100, I could probably just about justify
for an act
doing
I
it.
really want to see. I always put it this: if it's under £50,
yeah,
I'll take a chance on it, even if it's someone I'm like,
it's
or
not,
I've never heard of.
You've not
If it's
splurged
like 40,
that much.
40, even 45. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah. Do you know what? I'll take a chance. I'll come and see that act.
yeah.
50 to about 80,
Needs
80,
to be one of your
85
more.
makes me think. For
Yeah.
example, Paramore did a tour last year,
Yeah,
the year before, and I was like, well, I fancy that. It's £80, and it was just on that mark when we go, I don't know if I
not for
fancy it
Paramore
enough.
for
Don't get me
They're
wrong.
a sub £50 for
I
me.
started seeing the clips, and I was like, oh, maybe I should. But it was just that for me was like, no, I can't justify 80.
Yeah,
Yeah, anything north of 100, doesn't matter how much I want to see them,
yeah.
I cannot justify it. I'm going to see Green Day at the weekend.
Oh, nice. Where are they
And
playing?
that cost me about 90 quid.
See, that's,
And even then, I ummed and ahed about it.
no, I think for Green Day, because I've not seen them live again, or before rather.
They're good live.
I would probably pay £90 to go
Yeah,
see Green
they're
Day.
good live.
And like they're the first album I ever bought, American Idiot,
Yeah.
and that like blew my
When
mind.
they play pretty much the full run through of Jesus of Suburbia, that's great.
mate, it's
That's great.
one of my favourite songs of all time is Jesus of Suburbia.
Like the full 12-minute or whatever.
Yeah, and particularly there's a live performance they did of it. I want to say it's at Milton Keynes. That I've seen on YouTube, and it's just
Yeah, it's
brilliant. And I've got one of their live albums as well, and they do a version of Jump Up and Shout, and that's absolutely phenomenal as well. But no,
even
I'd
that
pay
I was
90
like-
to go see. But yeah, like Foo Fighters over 100 quid. I was like, I've seen them live before, and I can't justify.
Yeah.
The only one I did slightly regret was Tenacious D.
Yeah.
Because that sort of felt like a once in a blue moon opportunity.
I think that's about 60, wasn't it?
No, it was 150. I'm sure it was 150.
Maybe it was.
Because if it was 60, I can't see me being like, I would have found the money somehow. Do you know what I mean? And then I regretted it because he was just wandering, like Jack Black was
wandering
just
around
wandering
Brighton
about
and
Brighton
whatever,
that
yeah.
day. And you're like,
We would
And
have
it was
been
a
there.
beautiful
We would have been
day.
out there.
we'd have been sauced up. Do you know what I mean? Just having a good time. And then it turned out Alan was going with his lady, and it'd been like, oh, we could have all had a nice, great day out seeing Tenacious D. But
Yeah.
you live and learn.
Yeah.
But
They'll tour
150
again.
Yeah.
They'll tour again.
But yeah, for 150 quid, you're like, I want a lot from that experience. And like, to be honest with you, I love Tenacious D. There's maybe 3 or 4 songs I'm really there for.
Here's the
Do you
thing
know
for
what I mean?
Taylor Swift. Her set list
Yeah,
ran for just shy of 3.5 hours.
that is a long show.
And it was very performative. Apparently it was great. You know, the dancers, the
On
set
totally,
pieces
you
and
can
stuff.
tell
It
she
was
puts
the
a
thing.
lot of money into it.
But it, you know, you're not just getting a 80-minute, 60-minute
Yeah.
concert. 3.5 hours. That's Springsteen level. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's just coming out and playing until they tell you can't play anymore.
Yeah.
So I'll give her dues on that.
No, totally.
Full credit. And I like Taylor Swift.
I know you do. And the things, I know I've been quite like jokingly critical of her in the past, but we sort of discussed this the other night at a group gathering,
Yeah.
that although her music is not my cup of tea, I can absolutely appreciate it takes a certain level of talent and ability to get where she's got to. That doesn't just happen by luck. She clearly performs well live. But yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. But like, when you hear people are paying $2,000 for a ticket and shit like that, and they're having to import like shipping containers of merch and stuff like that, it's insane. It's like Beatle level fame and demand. But yeah, shall I play the clip?
Yeah.
1 second. It'd be easier if I turn this down, then I'm not worried about.
Don't you need to turn that up?
Yeah, but it was while I rewound it.
So we like to call our tour the Arrows Tour, because I feel like we've had more than a few eras, and more than a few fucking eras as well. Just a couple. That's because we actually play live. What?
I think that's...
Yeah, that's it. It's just we actually play live, sort of saying that Taylor doesn't play live. She sings live,
Yeah.
but she plays to a backing track most of the time. She does play live.
Oh,
she does
so
come
it's
out and
not
play.
a band. Is that what
She does come out and play with the band. I'm pretty sure it's backing tracks. But she does come out and play with the guitar and stuff and actually play live. But
yeah, I think you can tell from the fact he goes, "What?"
yeah,
Afterwards, it's quite clear he
knows what
doesn't
he's
mean
doing.
it. But it revealed two things, right? One, how, like, you could argue the Swifties are as aggressive, if not more so potentially, than the far right.
They terrify me.
My God.
And here's the other thing I didn't realise. They went after Dave Grohl's daughter earlier this year. So she did a tweet that said something along the lines of, why can't Taylor just drive like a normal person? Now, you could read that as she drives like a fucking weirdo and I want her to just drive in like a regulation style.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, how I interpreted it was, why does she have to like fly even short distances to gigs? Why can't she just drive? You know, why does she have to get all this special transport? That's how I interpret it. And they went fucking hard on her fans. They were like making rape threats, death threats. I mean, serious stuff. And they're calling out Dave Grohl for being like a misogynist and stuff.
And making a lot of comments about Kurt Cobain, Taylor Hawkins, threats to his family.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck me, man. Like,
it's just a bit of a joke.
Chill out. Like, fuck. This is just a bit of music. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure if you asked Taylor Swift, she probably laughed when she heard what Dave Grohl said. Do you know what I mean?
Although I do like, have you seen all the people trying to take advantage of Swiftie fans? So like when there's a public vote for like player of the year or something, goal of the season.
Yeah.
And like, for example, I saw it amongst the Palace circle when Michael Elise was nominated for a goal of the season. And everyone was like, oh, I heard Taylor really likes Michael Elise. I heard they're like good friends and stuff. Trying to get her fans to come and be like, let's vote for this. Come on, girlies, let's go vote.
Yeah. I mean, I know I won't be posting in the next clip anything about Taylor Swift's fans. I may be...
It'd get engagement.
Fucking would, wouldn't it?
Post a bit where I say I like her.
And me saying, I'll try and clip it.
So
I hate her.
I better know what they come up with.
Yeah.
Do you know what you should hate more? Your diet. That's what...
You should hate your body more. That's what you should do.
That seems to be the target for you. Every time.
The thing is, it's so reminiscent of like being back in school, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the second thing we learnt was that Dave Grohl is almost as universally loved as Taylor Swift is. Like the amount of outpouring of love and support for him. And it's just like, mate, the bloke's been through enough. Like, he made a little joke, chill out. He's known as literally the nicest guy in rock and roll. Do you know what I mean? So,
and there's a lot of similarities between him and Taylor Swift.
What's he doing before shows? He's barbecuing for homeless people. Like honestly, just chill out. He's out here living a good life.
Him and Taylor both take their mums on tour.
I like that. Yeah.
Hasn't
Dave Grohl's mum passed away now?
Yeah, but there's that great... I think so, but have you seen that clip from 2 years ago or something? When he's got there was a book out. Might even been his mum that did it. And he was just talking about how she was backstage and she was like, I'm looking around. She's like, yeah,
his autobiography.
She's like, where are all the other mums?
Because to her, it's just normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just like, no, like, mum, no one brings their mum on tour.
Yeah.
You're the only mum here.
Yeah.
It's a really sweet little clip. Yeah, anyway, and Taylor obviously quite a good relationship with her mum, quite famously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's very interesting, isn't it? So someone said on the radio, they were like, the thing about Taylor Swift is, as a fan, they were like, I feel sorry for her. And they even made a joke of it on the radio. They were just like, it's funny, isn't it? I feel sorry for the billionaire Taylor Swift. But she's like, there's just something about how relatable her music is and how relatable she comes across.
I wouldn't want her life, if I'm being honest with you.
I wouldn't mind it. Give me a chance.
No, like if I was to choose between like whose life I wanted to lead, out of the two of them, it would probably be Dave Grohl's.
Dave Grohl suffered a lot of loss though.
No, that's right. But I mean in terms of when I say living their life, like their lifestyle, their level of fame, that sort of stuff. Not necessarily their past particularly. Like, I wouldn't want two of my closest friends and band members to pass away.
But I forgot what I was going to say now about something about Taylor Swift being really rich. Oh yeah, and the other thing, if you were Taylor Swift, currently, you get free NFL tickets, baby.
That's very true.
She went to the fucking Super Bowl.
I'm not that into the NFL though.
I want to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean I'd go, but
I want to go. I don't want to sit in the box though. I'd like to sit in the box for one game, but I'd want to be down. I'd want to go tailgating in the car park.
well, you do that first, and then just go chill in the box.
Yeah,
away from all the riffraff.
away from the poor people.
Yeah, totally.
But that would be pretty cool.
But like the feeling of, I can't imagine, right, what it's like being any performer really, but particularly like a rock star, where like, and I remember having a moment with you when we went to see Noel Gallagher at the old Naval College, and it was just, the sun was setting, like an old ship was going
it was lovely,
by,
wasn't it?
and he was performing Wonderwall, I think it was, and he just for half the song just played the guitar and stopped singing. And then I think at one point just stopped playing the guitar, and like everyone just, the song continued. And I can't imagine what it must feel like as a performer to know if you just stop, it doesn't matter. Like, one of the most touching things I've seen in years was the Lewis Capaldi.
I
like,
knew that's where you were going.
Genuinely teared me up to see someone struggling, and I'm
the
sure
crowd picks him up.
Yeah, and you can see the emotion in him, the appreciation that's there, but also like the heartbreak that he can't do it. But the fact that 100,000 people that are stood
For
there.
me, it wouldn't even be like as a singer. It'd be as a songwriter. It'd be hearing this song
People
that you
sing,
wrote.
yeah.
Ultimately, it just came into your head when you was in the shower, or when you was whatever sitting around at home, or maybe you were just in the studio with your friends, with your colleague, with your band or whatever. And that little melody that you wrote, that you came up with, is now being sung back to you by 60, 70, 8,000 people.
Like that moment with Noel Gallagher, I completely understood why he was a smug, arrogant wanker. Because if you're doing that every night and you get that feedback every single
Instant
night,
high.
like you would just walk around. I'm pretty fucking awesome, aren't I? Like this, if I want to 100,000, like, and he could decide tomorrow, right? Yeah, I'm going to get Oasis back together. Liam said I may hate him, but I would do it tomorrow. Noel's the one who holds all the song rights. Like, he's the guy who wrote the songs. He's you could argue, the actual talented one out of the two of them. I think Liam's got a good voice and he's a good singer, but he'd admit himself he can't write to save his life.
No, Liam's a good front man.
Absolutely.
You need a bit of a personality if you're going to front a band.
I mean, and
as well.
like their behaviour and their attitudes is a massive part of why they were so successful and why they exploded in the way they did. But like Noel's the one, and I watch him, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, I'd probably be that big a wanker if I was that talented. Got that sort of feedback. I'd like to think I'd try not to
I
be.
was used to say that in defence of Justin Bieber, when I was like, if you literally since you were like 12 or something, the whole world's telling you you're the best thing since sliced bread, eventually you'd believe it.
And get left to live with P. Diddy for a long time.
Yeah, well.
But no, like even Dave Grohl talked about Justin Bieber, where he was like, if you give a 16-year-old boy like hundreds of millions of dollars, what the fuck do you think's going to happen? Do you know what I mean? Like there's all sorts of negligence that goes on there. Do you know what I mean?
But anyway, Dave Grohl, Taylor Swift, the beefiest beefs.
I'm Team Dave.
Yeah, I'm kind of like it. It's not a thing, is it?
Pick a side, Jake. Stop being a pussy.
There's no side though, is there?
There is a side though.
Beef.
There's only any situation Dave Grohl's in. There's only one side.
It's this.
He could have backhanded the bitch. I'd still be Team.
Did she take his Oscar?
She did something backstage to piss him off. Do you know what I mean?
Mentioned his wife.
Yeah.
Made a joke about
Made
her.
a joke about Kurt Cobain, so he backhanded her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see Kurt Cobain's in the sequel to Ghost, she says, or something, and he just walks over and is like, keep my front man's name
out your
goddamn
mouth.
mouth.
That would make headlines.
That would make headlines.
Yeah, just Dave Grohl backhanding Taylor Swift. Yeah, at the Country Music Awards as well. He's not even meant
right
to
on
be
our home
there.
turf.
Do you know what I mean? That's why I chose it.
Yeah. And then he wins an award that night. If we're keeping with the true Will Smith parallels, he's then got to come back out and win an award after everyone's been like, that bloke's mental.
He's not even released a country album. No, but what they appreciated, because I'm going to lean into something here, country people tend to be on the right. They tend to be in support of domestic violence. And so when he backhanded her, they were like, new award.
Yeah, they were like, Dave
Best female abuser of the year.
The media's like, Dave Grohl's not even a country artist. They're like, what do you mean? He came out and he slapped his woman like that. You can't get more country.
He was wearing a wife beater.
Got into his pickup truck.
With a jar that had 3 X's on the side.
He's been drinking since 11 o'clock this morning.
Do you know what I mean?
Which, to be fair, he does just walk around backstage drinking.
Yeah, well, you would, wouldn't you?
So you're like, the man is... It's like, have you seen him on Hot Ones? Yeah, of course you have. You've seen him. When he like started making cocktails and...
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched it.
Just respect it. Just respect it.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm Team Dave.
Okay. I don't think there is beef. I'm not picking a side.
I'm making beef.
Also, I'm not going against the Swifties.
I'm making beef stir fry.
They would get us some good engagement, though.
Yeah.
Well, they'd get us engagement.
Yeah. I don't know whether it'd be good.
We've already had abuse. Fine.
Oh, yeah, who cares? That's why I said, like, I'm posting the response to the haters. I'm going to try and clip up the bits where I'm like, I get donuts every time I fuck your mum.
You should cut it straight into, I get donuts every time I fuck your mum. I hate Taylor Swift. There's no context.
Yeah, I hate Taylor Swift, and I've said that just so that I can clip it. And the title of it will be just pissing everyone off. and at the end, I'll just have you going, I love Taylor Swift.
I love Taylor Swift.
We'll
just title it Peace to the Haters.
Do you want to go back to politics, or should we talk about one more
Let's talk
serious
about
story?
something a bit further away from politics. Let's have the fun.
Something that's really far away. Jay Slater.
Jay Slater, yes. Yes, this is my new, what was her name? The woman who went missing at the start. No, not that's going way back. No, the princess.
Oh, Kate.
Kate. This is my new Kate.
Princess Kate. Where is it?
I found out that I have a real skill for being a Facebook hun.
Okay, what does that mean?
I've said about 3 or 4 things in the last few days that would have looked right at home on that Facebook page.
What have you been saying?
The last one I said to someone, has anyone thought of the idea that Spain have a royal family? So what if they drove by, saw him
and just
in distress and took him to look after him because they're nice, kind royals?
Yeah.
What else? I've said so much stuff. I've said also. I said, what was the one? This is the one that I was quite proud of. I was like, that would look. I was almost tempted to be like, I'm going to get a Facebook back.
Yeah.
I'm going to join the group. I'm going to post this shit. I was that proud of it. I said, what if? Because you've seen all the insane. I'll let you set it up in a minute, but all the insane comments about how we should play his favourite music and leave axes out for him to leave machetes out. Yeah. I and the people just being
we
like,
should pause the Euros so that he can watch it when he's found.
Because the players are all distressed.
Yeah.
But we'd just shout his name and stuff like that. I said, what if he is, as some of the leading theories are, he did get in trouble with some gangsters.
Yeah.
What if he's out hiding? He didn't get taken by them, but every time he hears the music or the name calling and stuff, he thinks it's a trap by the gangsters. So he's actually trying to stay away from us every time we try and find him.
The best one I saw was that they should do what the creepy guy does to Ted in Ted 2, which is where Ted hides amongst a load of other teddy bears and he starts singing Sweet Caroline and he can't resist going, bam, bam, bam. So do that for him.
In that little clip of Ted 2 as well, it's like, bam, bam, bam,
and he goes,
shit.
Fuck.
Yeah, fuck, whatever he says. Like,
yeah, the guy grabs him. And I completely forgot about that scene until I saw it. It made me
honestly,
laugh.
The Jay Slater thing, like, I love when Facebook huns get on something.
Yeah,
I adore it. They're batshit.
There is
so just for the story, there's this guy who went missing in Tenerife. He's like 19 or something. A few years ago, he had trouble where he was like got in trouble because he had tried to attack someone with a machete.
He didn't try. Him and 8 other people put someone in the hospital, splitting their skull open, attacking him with a machete and weapons.
And
None
he's
of
gone
them went to
missing.
prison.
It looks a bit dodgy the way his girlfriend's done it and his mum's done it.
It's this girl called Lucy, isn't it?
Looks like they know more than they're letting on. Then they started to go fund me for 30 grand. So like, we'll get, it'll be to help. Yeah, 32,000 it passed yesterday. And they said it'll be to help the search efforts and stuff. But then there's the leading theory is that she's like a drug dealer
Yeah.
that he's got himself involved with her. She said, "Let it's easy money. We go to this festival.
Yeah.
I give you a bag of drugs.
You
You sell it, and then you don't even need to sell them all because at the end of the night, you come back and you give, I don't know how much money, half the money, whatever. What you give a percentage up to these guys who provide the drugs, and you give them back whatever drugs we didn't sell.
Yeah, yeah.
Easy money. You're going to make 5-6 grand, easy. And the leading theory is that he's taken some of the drugs himself rather than
I can
selling
read
them.
the
Well, I think I've got it that he took the drugs, lost the rest of the drugs, lost the bag of drugs. The people have he's then turned up obviously like distraught, being like, I don't know where the drugs are, I don't know, I haven't got the money, kind of thing. And they're like, you owe us the amount that was in the bag, and it was something like 15-20 grand or something at the time.
Yeah.
And they said, we don't have it, and they're like, and they took him basically and said, look, if you don't find us that money, and to show you how serious we are, it's now 30 grand.
Yeah.
Then we're going to kill him. And that's why they started the GoFundMe. That's the theory.
And
I buy it.
And the person who's leaked it has said that this girl Lucy makes more than enough every month that she could easily pay them off. And sadly, like, as soon as I heard about his violent past, it became far more plausible because
you believe that he could get mixed up with these people.
Well, and you can absolutely believe that he thought he could scam them as well. That he thought he was
I don't think he
clever
thought he was scamming them. I think he probably just
fucked up.
Yeah, he's
So
young,
do you
he's naive.
reckon they're actually holding him still, waiting for the money, or do you think they've just?
No, I think they. There's a chance that now that there's so much publicity, they might try and kill him and just shove him off to the side. But I also think there's a chance that he might.
Yeah.
Once they get their money, he might come home.
Yeah.
The most, I send this to some of the other dads, the most boring thing is that if he just turns up and it's a really shit explanation for it.
Yeah, like he just got lost and
That's
someone
be
was
so
looking after
disappointing.
him. Or
Imagine if he did though. Have you seen the one where he was like, what if he was caring for a cat, and he got stuck to a cactus? And like, what if he was following an injured cat, and he picked it up and then fell over and got stuck to a cactus?
the
What if that
problem
was
is,
the story?
it's the going 11 hours away from where you were staying. That's the really weird part, wasn't it? His last known location was at some villa. 11 hours,
and that's it. Apparently, then Lucy, whatever her name is, Lucy May or whatever, went up took his phone up into the forest or into the mountains
and just
ditched
left it,
and then was like, I've tried to call him, he's tried to call me, and then reported it and stuff. I've got to find this as well because this was one that I really, really loved. I hope I can find it. I think it was the Daily Mail. But I don't. That's why I want to find it before. I don't want to necessarily be
libelous.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Daily Mail actually, but one of the papers actually reported his last known location as Museo.
Okay.
Which is just Spanish for museum. It was just because it was by a sign that said there's a museum this way. And they were like, oh, his last known location was near Museo.
So they took that as a town name. Like it. But no, it's mental.
That's the level you're dealing with.
Like, I don't really know how this blew up so much either.
No, why did this take traction?
I don't think there ever is actually a rhyme or reason to these things. Just I think
we do need something like that though.
Like maybe one person responded to it jokingly, and then it just
internet
snowballs.
Needs stuff like this. I mean, like when Kate was missing.
Yeah.
Oh my god! When they released that photo.
To be honest though, if you look back at that, it's a bit like the Liz Truss month, like in terms of the chaoticness of it, and like, was that even real? Like, I look back at the Kate debacle, where like, just why? Like, how? Why?
That's the thing. It's how it's handled, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a way to just make it go away and keep it out of the news cycle.
Yeah.
Or let it have its 24 hours and then subside away.
Or even, I can imagine, if they'd have talked to, and I know they have an issue with doing this, but like the higher ups at the papers, and like have a sort of dialogue with them and say like, look, she's not well. We don't want to talk about it publicly at the moment. When the time is right, we'll give you the full story.
But keep it out now.
But for the time being, and you'd like to think, I know not all of them.
Someone will leak it.
Maybe, but that's why I say like the higher ups. If you go to the top of
the editors,
yeah.
yeah, the other one I saw that this is, and for me, the Jay Slater thing has become an absolute shining example of Poe's law. So I'll mention it again. I've mentioned it a few times on previous episodes, which you can find in all your podcast places and on YouTube. So there was one that was just like, oh, what if the people who took Madeleine McCann were like, she's really lonely now, so we'll get her a partner. But here's something that Poe's law says that with the internet, because you can't necessarily get tone and intonation and stuff like that, it's very difficult, and that some stuff that people post online is so batshit and out there, you can't tell anymore what's real and what's joking. Like when someone's making a joke and taking the piss and being and making some kind of satire, and when someone's just posting something seriously. So for me, if you read through all of the theories on the Jay Slater page, it's the prime example of Poe's law, because there's so many you go through and you're like, they're taking the piss, and there's a lot of comments where you're like, no, they are just taking the piss. That's not even, you know, the one who's like, oh, my nan was psychic and she reckons he's been this or whatever, and the comment was just like, your nan's been on the ket, mate. But like, there's so many where you go, oh, they're taking the piss, but then there's also so many where you go, oh, but are they? Are they being serious? Because you read it and you go,
having engaged with a lot of conspiracy theories, they tend to mean it. Like,
I know, but there's some on there that are 100% not serious.
Oh no, totally.
And you can't tell which is which.
The more you engage with conspiracy,
the more you think you can tell.
I'd like to think so.
But my point
maybe
is,
that's a game we could play.
I've talked about Poe's law, and I've described it. But if you want to see it in action to really fully understand it, so that if I ever mention it again, go to the Jay Slater page and just have a look down and just think on every post: are they serious?
I might do the same.
Or is someone taking the piss? Do you know? It's someone on the wind up.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell.
So do you reckon they're going to use the GoFundMe to try and get him back?
That's the theory. Do you?
Maybe. My thing is maybe like they're like, all right, well, shot of him. The mum's like, it's been nothing but a pain in the arse. Here's 30 grand. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we're going to Ibiza.
Yeah, not Tenerife.
Not Tenerife.
No.
They might run into
Too
him.
soon.
You never came looking for me.
We tried. I tried.
Jay.
It's been a while.
Thought you were dead. Yeah. There you go then.
I mean, sadly, and I'm not wishing this upon the guy despite his past behaviour, but I think it's more than likely he's not alive, to be honest. People that tend to deal in those sort of things don't fuck around, and they certainly don't open themselves up to the risk of actually trying to do some sort of hostage exchange, because the likelihood of coming out of that with the money and not getting caught is quite unlikely.
If he wasn't dead already, then it does depend on how they take it now that it's as high profile as it is. Yeah. It could push them one of two ways. I know that's a really cop-out answer, but it could. Yeah. Like, they could either go, all right, we need to make sure he gets out alive.
Yeah.
And pay him off to make sure he don't say shit. We'll pay him off, threaten him.
The problem is, I listened to a criminologist once, and they were like, 9 times out of 10, if someone takes someone hostage, it's not about the money or what they're asking.
It's about an image. It's about putting a message across.
Well, and they're getting something out of, like, they're normally getting off on seeing the family members and the pain and the suffering and all that sort of stuff. It's very rare that it's actually solely driven by some sort of monetary value. I mean, and that could be the case. That might be what's happening, but it's very likely that...
Well, there, I think it was more as a message to everyone else of, like, you don't fucking take our products. Yeah, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
But in Spanish.
Yeah. Sure. Look it up. What's fuck around and find out in Spanish?
All right, but Google might give me the most basic translation. I'll do that, actually, and then I'll reverse it. That's one of my favourite things to do.
What's that?
Putting something through Google Translate and then putting it back through Google Translate back into English.
Right.
It's amazing.
Does it change it?
Yeah.
Really? I've never tried that.
I'll do it now and I'll see what happens.
Nice.
That's why when Morris posted that thing in the group... Oh, no, you're not in the group. If Morris posted something in the group that's about, like... Hang on, I've got to find it because it's fucking amazing. you might now have to pad while I find this fucking thing.
Guys, while I've got
Swear
your
word for it.
attention, I'm going to quickly do the socials. They'll be here on the screen. You can find us on Twitter at Swords Crossing, on Facebook at Crossing Swords, on Instagram and TikTok at CrossingSwords_podcast, and you can email us at CrossingSwords19@gmail.com. If you're listening to this on audio, we record all the episodes so you can see our beautiful faces. You can find us by searching Crossing Swords podcast on YouTube, or go into the link of the description. Go into the description of every episode and you'll find a link to our YouTube page.
This is what Morris put into
Thank
Google
you.
Translate. Because so in German. He put into Google Translate English to German. Scotland get battered everywhere they go. Germany is winning.
Right.
This was on like the opening night. And I was like, have you actually put that into Google Translate back into English? Because you should, it's golden. Because this is what it says when you put it back. So he's
Right.
put Scotland get battered everywhere they go. Germany is winning into Google Translate, copied and pasted it. I've then put that back into Google Translate, and it says, just remember what it was meant to say.
Right.
Okay? It says, Scotland is being hit everywhere. Germany is burning. Because I Google Translate, I was like, there's no way that's what he meant.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way that's what he meant to say. And he was like, that's not what it's meant to say. I'm like, I know, but you didn't fucking test it, did you?
Right, now get me the Spanish for fuck around and find out.
Okay. Joder y descubrirlo.
No, that's not as good as I was hoping.
Now,
Quite disappointing.
now it comes the fun part. Oh, fuck you.
Hey, that's rude.
Oh, hang on.
Do you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Sometimes.
I've heard.
Never with tongue, though.
That's not what I've heard.
See, this says fucking find out.
Fucking right.
Just slightly, it just changes
Yeah,
the
well, the
tone.
English language is really weird, isn't it?
It becomes a
So,
bit more flirty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out is quite like a
aggressive.
aggressive.
Yeah.
Fuck and find out is like, come and get me pregnant, bitch.
That sounds a bit. Yeah, there's an implication to it for sure, isn't there? Like, you might get an STD, you
I
might
don't
end
even
up
think- I
pregnant.
don't even think there's an implication. I think it's quite direct.
Fuck
Fuck and find out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
there's that. What the fuck were we talking about, Jay
Jay
Slater?
Slater.
But what's worrying is the ones who are serious with all their theories and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
if you try just shouting his name, let's play his favourite music in case he dances down to it. These people,
Venga
like,
Boys.
if they're boom, 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 boom,
Or,
Rita's in the room.
No, what's the other one?
There ain't no
What's the other
striker
Venga
better
Boys?
than
Stop
John
singing that one.
I don't know the other one.
This is what I wanna do. Is that the same one?
No,
We're
it's
back
not.
in town. Ooh,
Ooh.
1-on-1, just me and you.
Yeah, okay, that one. No, that's not the
Boom,
same.
boom, boom, boom.
Oh, it might be the same.
Oh, no,
one.
it's the same one,
Yeah,
isn't
it's the
it?
same
Yeah,
one.
fair enough.
They have one song.
There's me just having a go at you
there's
for
one song.
singing the right song.
But these people are going to get to vote in a couple of weeks.
So are the people from TikTok, bro. It's just, it is what it is, isn't it?
No, but yeah. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
But
Like,
these people walk among us. You could be talking to
they
someone
breed.
and have no idea that they think that they could find Jay Slater.
With Venga Boys.
Have you seen the one who's like, oh, my ferret's got a really good sense of smell. How much does it cost to ship a ferret out to Spain? I'll send him out there, see if I can get a log.
You do worry about people, don't you?
So, but again, is that Poe's law? Is that person being serious?
I mean, no, I don't think they are. I think they're being silly.
But then someone said about their dog's got a really good sense of smell, and they think they can find him.
That could be more serious. There's cadaver dogs out there.
Yeah, but I mean, they're probably looking for a cadaver,
Yeah.
or is he in the ocean?
The sad
If I was
thing
on an island like that, I'd chuck him in the ocean.
is that the heat isn't just rising in our country; it's rising everywhere. Like, there's been several people in recent weeks that have died abroad because they've gone out in the heat unprepared and got lost. And
And that's what happened.
no, I don't think
That's
it
your
is.
possibility.
I mean, it's possible, but I think the fact he went 11 hours away from where he was staying sort of says to me he was likely in the boot of a car when that was happening. The white car that everyone's talking about.
I've not seen this white car.
It's literally, it's like, it looks like a rental or even potentially a cab maybe, but it's just sat in front of this bus stop that was outside the apartment they were staying at. And the last place he was seen was stood by this bus stop. And that was, well, no, there's footage of what people think was him along some sort of like windy highway road where a white car pulls up alongside him, or whoever the person is, and then
So he was running.
No, he's moving like normal speed, literally just walking alongside the road in this car.
No, I mean, he was trying to get away from them. He was like, I'll go into the mountains where they won't find me.
Maybe.
And they found him.
My theory would more likely be they took him, he maybe got an opportunity to get away and thought if he followed the road back they wouldn't find him. I don't know. Out of desperation, maybe he hoped someone else would see him and he might get a ride, and then that's how he got back. But
Isn't it funny how long it took for the machete thing to come out as well?
yeah.
And you can't help but, I know, I don't want to put this on everything we do, but you can't help but wonder if he was a different colour. Would it have taken so long for that to come out?
It was the same as the Madeleine McCann situation. If you watch the documentary, they go and talk to a mother of a local Portuguese child that got taken around very much around the same time as Madeleine. No news coverage whatsoever, but yet Madeleine, a white, blonde English child, was the centre of the world's news. So I don't think it's unfair to say that if it had been a young black man that had been either lost or taken, if he had that sort of background, that wouldn't have been the first thing that was, why are people donating money to him? Look at his past. But whereas with this Jay guy, because the thing is, if you look at his photos, he doesn't particularly look dangerous or particularly even aggressive. Not that you can necessarily tell that from a photo, but he doesn't look like what I would consider to be a dangerous person. So it just goes to show, doesn't it? But no, I was definitely surprised how long it took for that to come out. And afterwards I was a bit like, well, I'm less concerned than I was.
Can I just say, by the way, I don't know what made me think this. I met someone last week who had been kidnapped.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason it came up was because they were like, the picture they used was just not good.
Yeah.
They were like, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there, but I met...
It's an odd thing to have an issue with afterwards. I think there'd be a lot more things.
I think the trauma, you kind of block a few things out.
Maybe. But yeah, I'd like to think that would be lower down on my list of concerns afterwards.
This was like, and where we were like, it was like 2 years ago or something. It was pretty recent.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's...
But at the same time, that's someone making humour out of a
tragic, traumatic incident.
So I do get it. But no, it's a weird one. I mean, it might be one of those where we never actually find out what's happened or where he is. I hope for his and his family's sake that he is found.
I might be doing a great disservice to the partner, the woman involved. But every time I've seen her, I've had very limited viewings of her. Every time I've seen her or seen anything from her or interactions from her, it always feels like, and so I'm very careful to say feels like, and like I said, I don't want to do her a disservice because she might just be genuinely struggling to process the emotions, which is why she's acting so weird. Feels like she knows more than she's letting on. Feels like she's not giving the full picture. And maybe it is as simple as something's happened. He's genuinely gone missing.
Yeah.
And she's panicked because she suddenly thought, I want people to find him, but if they pry into my life, they're going to find that I'm a drug mule or whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe it's what has happened to him is like he's genuinely gone missing up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And she's acting weird because the reason she's, like I said, it comes across like she's not giving everything away. And maybe that's simply because she's just like, I don't want people looking at me.
What throws the spanner in the works for me is the distance he was away from
like
where he was staying. That just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. And to be so far away from everyone you're away with as well, like that doesn't make sense.
I've gone for a boozy walk.
But not 11 hours away.
No.
You've disappeared for a couple of hours and then turned up again.
Yeah,
more or less as drunk as you were when I last saw you.
First holiday away.
There's just a several hour gap where you just vanished and then appeared again.
It probably was about 3 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Give or
take.
But
like, I remember until I saw you again, 'cause I was so drunk that it was only when I saw you I was like, oh, there he is. Do you know what I mean? It was like no one was concerned.
Like I said, for me, it was the morning after when I just kept bumping into people around the resort and stuff.
But I think we're probably
like,
very much past the point of this being he's wandered off on his own.
Oh, that was never a possibility, really, was it?
Like, and then you see the leaked story or the alleged leaked story. There's even been leaked messages allegedly from between the two of them, or between the person who wrote the leaked story and Lucy, allegedly.
Her basically
and
saying...
even, like, the way the mum's dealt with it is quite weird, like the way she's spoken about it. And
again, the mum, it comes across like she's not giving us the full...
Yeah, and, like, neither of them seemed particularly upset, and I know...
Maybe they weren't. Maybe he was an absolute fucking scumbag and they were just like, oh...
Because, like, I've heard body language experts talk about, like, or they were explaining why, like, Kate McCann, for example, was the way she was, and they argued that a more stoic reaction or a frozen reaction doesn't always mean a guilt or they're
just means a processing issue. It's a trauma thing.
Or that they've just put a wall up.
Yeah, it's a trauma response.
Yeah, to protect themselves from the situation. Because, like, I mean, even this situation, the level of attention it's got, it's, if you're just a normal person, that's a lot to be bombarded with.
Not to be in the middle of.
I personally think I don't think we will find out what's happened to him.
No, maybe.
I hope for him and his family's sake we do find out what's happened to him. I hope they find him and that he's safe. And
like I said, maybe he was genuinely, they were like, oh, he's missing, we need to report it. And the other one just went, well, if we report it now, they might find him. Give it a few hours.
Yeah.
You know, let's get him a chance to get really lost.
Yeah.
And then we'll report it.
Wait till he's 11 hours away.
Yeah, that little shit bag. Wait till he's all the way up there.
Yeah, wait till he's lost in the mountains. But, like, look, we say it doesn't make sense that he did that. There is a gentleman that recently passed away that went off for a long hike on his own in Greece that passed away because he did that unprepared, not knowing where he was going, and actually, sadly, wasn't that far away from somewhere that could have helped him. But
yeah, my
but 11 hours?
Uncle, twice removed, whatever. So it's not a distance thing on this incident, but it looked really dodgy when he passed away because he was found by the side of the road, topless, and it was just a really odd thing. And
this is your twice removed uncle, did you say?
Yeah, it's like my aunt's brother, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know what the relation is. I've never known what the fucking relationships are between cousins and third cousins and great aunts and uncles. I don't fucking know.
Aunt's brother, he's your uncle.
Maybe, but he's not a direct relation to me, is he?
How's the aunt related? For one of your parents, presumably.
Aunt's married to my dad's brother.
Oh, so it's a non-related aunt.
So yeah, no, it's just like a non-blood aunt. We're not blood related.
So is this your dad's brother?
So my dad's brother.
Oh, right, okay. So
his wife's brother.
Right, okay. I was like, what's he talking about? If it's your aunt's brother, that's...
Christ knows what the relationship is.
Yeah, he's nothing to you.
Well, not anymore. No, that's a bit harsh.
That is a bit harsh.
So he was found at the side of the road topless, and what it had turned out was that I might get this slightly wrong, that in like he'd gone for a walk, like whatever had happened to him just in the immediate minutes, hours before his death, he'd felt compelled to go for a walk. He wasn't really much of a walker particularly, but he felt compelled to go for a walk, and he was just whatever it was that killed him. I can't remember what it was, but obviously one of the symptoms was just an overwhelming heat.
Yeah.
So he ditched his top a little bit earlier on the walk, just trying to cool down.
Yeah.
So there wasn't like a simple explanation to it,
yeah.
But for sure when you see it and you don't have all the facts, it looks dodgy.
It looks dodgy. Just a bloke killed over on the side of the road topless.
Yeah.
That's a sad way to go as well.
Very few good ways.
True.
No happy ways, I don't think.
In your sleep, I think.
It's sucked off by some, like, you know.
No, I think I'd be pretty happy if I passed away in my sleep.
Getting.
Which, if I keep fucking these right wings people's mums, not going to be far away, because
I think getting taken to Pleasure Town by the hot tour girl.
Spit on that thing.
Bet on that thing.
Again, another thing that's just for whatever reason taken Twitter and the internet by storm. And I'm sort of here for it. Conor McGregor's
I love
followed
it.
her.
Yes.
Um,
Dirty old man.
yeah. Not a very nice man, allegedly. But yeah, that's where we're at, guys. We're putting the world to right. We're taking on the right and dealing with missing people.
And I think if we do find him, he'd probably vote reform. Because I don't think this whole affair, has made him very pleasant of foreigners.
Yeah. Do you know what it did make me think though? Was we'd been to Playas, Las Americas, which is where he was staying.
Was it?
Yeah. And I was
I've only
like,
taken bits and pieces.
we didn't
to be honest,
see
the story.
any.
We didn't see Jay.
Like not. Well, we were a few years too early.
Didn't see any gangs.
No, and like I've talked to people about this before. Like I've never come across drugs on a night out ever. Like genuinely, and I've been on a lot of nights out, but like never in the toilet. Like I always expected to see like deals going down in the toilets, and all there ever was just a bit of light rimming. Do you know what I mean? Never narcotics being exchanged.
No.
But yeah,
Things being consumed.
yeah. Normally cocks.
Normally as well. If someone I have seen the aftermath of drug taking
Yeah.
on a night out, but I always assume they bring it with them. Like I've never seen where they get it. I've seen I think once
Well, like
in a
apparently
nightclub
it's going on wherever you are, but I just don't. I've never seen
I know
it.
this is the thing that makes me laugh. I think once I've seen a drug deal take place in a nightclub, but I think of all the times when people are like, drugs are so easy for young people to go, it's like, as someone who's been a young person, I don't recall finding it easy at all. I found it quite difficult. And like, even just like with weed, you sort of stumble upon a dealer,
Yeah.
but then if you fall out and you think, I'm going to go
How do you
somewhere
find
else,
another one?
it's actually really hard to find another one.
Allegedly.
It's a bit easier nowadays, I think. The weed thing's become much more of a main thing. So like, the
No,
weed
I
thing-
think you'd be.
But genuinely, you kind of like, it's not easy to come across drugs.
No.
I don't think they're that easy to come across.
No, I think we should just legalise weed. We need to make it easier to
I
get
think
into people's
I
hands.
regret starting this off. with weed.
You know, well, we know allegedly how I feel about these things.
But drugs are not easy to come by, I don't think.
No, and like I said, genuinely, I'm not just saying this for the police that are listening. I've genuinely.
Never seen it.
Oh, excuse me, guys. No, I've genuinely never seen drugs on a night out.
And even as like a young man with like, little bum fluff tash or whatever, so clearly very young, I look like a fucking knock. If I waddle up to somebody like, hey guys, do you want any drugs?
Yeah.
Anyone any,
Can I have a portion of weed?
yeah, anyone like any puffs?
Yeah.
You guys ever,
You got that sweet Mary Jane?
yeah, anyone ever taken a little something?
You know what I mean? And they're like, mate, we have no idea what you're
Help a
talking about.
brother out here.
I always love that scene. Is it from The In-Betweeners? And is
Oh,
it
with Doc
Brown?
Brown, yeah.
One of the best scenes ever where he's just like, can I buy some drugs? And he was like, what do you mean? Do you think just because I'm black, I sell drugs? And he was like, oh, mate, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, I do sell drugs, but I resent the assumption that just because I'm black and stood near a toilet, you assume I sell drugs.
Can you roll it for us? No,
Yeah.
but like genuinely, I would look so suspicious if I tried to get drugs.
Yeah.
Even if I saw someone doing some drugs, I'd be like, all right, fellas, do you mind if I have a go?
I've got to be honest, if I was a drug dealer, I probably wouldn't trust you.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think I have that vibe.
No,
I don't have drugs.
I can see you like in an interrogation room for something completely unrelated, and you just be like, "I know a drug dealer. His name's Andrew. This is his drug."
No, but you know what? I wouldn't give it away by being like panicking and being like, oh my God, I've got to give him. I'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty cool. I know a drug dealer.
Yeah,
Kind of no big deal.
I'm there all the
Yeah.
time.
Name's Andrew. I can hook you up if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want his number? Yeah, no problem, mate. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a cool guy.
Yeah.
It's no biggie.
I know all the cool people in the area.
Being led back into my cell, being like, yeah, they think I'm cool.
I'm gonna be safe. In
I
prison.
have impressed those, but I would not survive prison.
No.
I've made my peace with that.
Yeah.
I've got to avoid it
No,
at all
honestly,
costs.
one of the things that frightens me more on this there's not many things that frighten me more on this planet than the idea of being in prison.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's why when I see like some of the climate protests and stuff, I'm like, all power to you, but there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
And it's not even about having a criminal record. It's about actually being in prison.
There are some
no
things I'd
chance.
like to think I'd make an exception for. I think if they tried to completely get rid of protest or, you know, any form of like collectiveness, I think
Sort of are.
Sort of, yeah. But I think if it was to go much further, I think I would be willing to go and smash some shit up.
It depends what you're in there for as well, because if you're in there for climate protests,
Yeah.
the first thing that everyone's going to think is, oh, you're one of those pricks that stops ambulances. And that's it. Do you know what I mean? You're a target.
Yeah.
And I'm a little guy. I can't be a target.
No.
I'm already a target.
The problem is I'm also a large guy, and that also makes you a target.
Yeah.
So like, there's not, you want to be you've got to try and make them laugh, I guess. If you know,
Make them laugh, make them
like,
laugh.
if we go to protests, anti-protesting, we've got to go with like a back catalogue of stand-up jokes, or be really good at singing and try and R. Kelly our way through prison. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think, because they actually put you in a different prison to the young people. But it's actually, they put the young offenders in a separate prison.
No.
Plus,
but have you not seen the videos of
prison.
him in prison, like
No, I haven't.
surrounded by prisoners, and he's just singing to them? He's like,
Fair enough.
"I'm the world's greatest,"
Fair
and
enough.
they're loving it. And you're like, of course, he found a way to get through it. Plus, he's rich, so he can afford to buy protection.
There's me sitting there going, God, guys, prison
Just
food.
getting with some bloke hanging out the back of you.
No, I'm like, I'm going to make them laugh. Like,
Or are you going to assert to them like you do to me that no, I'm the giver here?
No, they're criminals. I don't take that chance.
Okay, you're just taking it.
I know you're not.
How much of a fight? No, it's not. It's not.
You're not going to stab me. I know you're not going to stab me. But like
guys,
I said, I'm going in going like.
Let us know who lasts longer in prison,
Guys,
me or Jack.
Guys, prison food. Am I right? God, look at these guards.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful. You don't make an enemy of the guards.
No.
Fine balance.
Yeah, it's actually one of the reasons. Like, I remember someone saying they had loads of jobs going in prisons to be a prison guard, and I thought about it, and I was like, but what happens if, like, because they're so corrupt, the prisons, and that means the guards have to be involved in some degree. So you're like, but what if you get approached by someone quite dangerous that's like, you're going to start doing X, Y, and Z to help us, and if you don't, we're going to hurt the people you care about, and then you're trapped in a job. And I actually knew someone who was a prison guard, and I started talking to him about stuff, and he was just like, there's a reason why I've left the job. It's not something you want to go into. And I was like, okay, fair enough, I'll take your...
So let's stay out of prison.
And it was the look on his face when he said it, and I was
trauma.
And I was like, all right, I'm not going to touch that, and I don't want to know, and I'm not going for that job. And I'm also not stupid enough to think I could keep dangerous criminals under control. Do you know what I mean? I can barely control myself.
I can't control myself.
Exactly.
That's probably why I'd end up in prison.
Backhanding Taylor Swift.
Just backhanding Taylor Swift.
And what a way to go full circle.
Don't put that in the clip though, because like I said, I love Taylor Swift.
Yeah. No, it's all right. I'm gonna do me hating right-wing people,
Straight Taylor Swift,
and then ending with you going, I love Taylor Swift.
Do you know what Taylor's fans need to do though, with the Dave Grohl stuff?
What?
Shake it off.
I like it. Bye-bye.